Peace and hello to all. This is S.S.Oracle, Shadow and Soul Oracle. My name is Savvy. And listen. All right. So, the energy here, it's okay to give up. Like, it's okay when you're at your wit's end. It's okay. Like, they tell us not to give up, but sometimes in healing, specifically, when we're dealing with healing, like sometimes the giving up is the surrender. Okay, when we talk about surrendering, like spiritually, like that is a surrender. Like sometimes it gets too much, like, and we have to really just be like, okay, I give up, especially when we're like pushing back from, intuitive insight that we'll get to do certain things, and we put stuff off, like that kind of energy. And it's like, okay, now I got to take care of this. Like, okay, I give up. Like, I have to do this now. Like, there is no, I'm going to do it later. There is no this, like, I have to get this done. And that's what the 10 of Swords is. It's like, it's you've fought with it enough mentally, the things going on in your mind, your thoughts. All right. All of that. And so it's like, and one of the greatest things that I've ever heard that I've kind of just been digesting lately is the concept that thinking is listening. You know what I mean? When you're thinking, you're listening, you are recalling, like there are words, you're hearing something, right? So it's like when things are ruminating in your mind, like, and you just give up and you say, what do I need to do? Like, where do I go from here? I can't overthink this. I can't keep intellectualizing my experiences. Like that's the 10 of Swords. Like it's done. Like now you have to feel. And so we get to the heart here in the middle. This is Aset, ancient Kemetic, ancient Egyptian goddess of necromancy. my favorite attribute of hers, her necromancing powers, which is bringing the self back to life, bringing something back to life. Okay, we're talking about the heart here. So out of the 10 of Swords here, where it's like we're done with the mental games, like things will get clearer from here because you finally surrendered. Okay, you finally surrendered. Now let me deal with my heart. Let me deal with the matters of the heart and revive my heart. Let me retrieve my light, my truth, right? My deepest feelings. So we're facing our feelings, we're facing our emotions. Okay? And the thing is, we're not always going to feel good. We're not always going to, it doesn't feel good to face certain feelings. Like when we think about the spectrum of emotions that we experience, like for example, like sadness, right? Like sadness, but we have to feel sadness. Like everybody feels it. We may avoid it and try to act like we don't feel it and suppress it and repress it. But it's like, we feel that. It's not pleasurable, right? It's not pleasurable. It's uncomfortable. It's not comfortable, but it's part of our feeling experience. So to deny it is a blockage in your heart. You cannot deny or pretend or act like you don't feel things that you're actually feeling. But in your mind, with your thoughts, right? 10 of Swords, you can play with that all day long until you get to that point and you laying down like, you know what? Let me stop acting like I don't feel the way that I feel. This is the part of being honesty. This is the shadow work, healing, emotional maturity, awareness, regulation. You have to know what you're regulating. You have to feel through the emotion. And I'm doing my best to not sound condescending here, okay, or too pretentious here, because I know how difficult it is, especially when we come from backgrounds and experiences and environments where we're not allowed to express emotions, or we're, teased or bullied for having certain emotions and crying and all of that. And so, I understand the blockage and the barrier and the obstacle when it comes to dealing with your unpleasant, unfavorable emotions, but you can only put it off for so long. You're going to get tired. Okay? And I feel like a lot of people are tired. They're tired of acting like things are okay, but it's not. Okay? But it's not. Like when we brush things off, like if you've ever been teased or picked on or something, right? And it's like we brush it off like, oh, it's cool. Like, but you felt something though. Like you felt something though, like, and it's all those moments. So that could have happened, throughout our lives into adulthood, but think all the times it may have happened in childhood. When you dismiss what hurts. So you're blocking your heart chakra. Denial is blocking, right? Think basketball. To deny is to block. So if you're denying your feelings and emotions to yourself, within yourself, you're blocking your heart. And of course, then we'll be all up in our minds thinking about and replaying the experiences because we haven't processed the emotion. And in processing the emotion, we allow it. Okay? But the detachment here is speaking to feeling whole inside. Not empty, but fulfilled. Like feeling fulfilled inside and not being attached to, say, your emotions or experiences or desires. Okay? But it comes in knowing that you're whole already. Like, you have to know you are love already. You have to know that you are not lacking in anything already as an abundant being. So it's a play on words here when we're talking about feeling whole and also feeling whole, like emptiness. You're feeling emptiness within your heart, but that's an illusion. And so we get deeper into the spiritual element of it here, and knowing that you are abundant in love, that you are love, that any seemingly illusory discrepancy is just that of experience that has not yet been processed. Because we are one with the divine, with source, with the most high, and that is our source of love. So the experiences that we have here where we didn't feel love or feel acceptance or feel compassion or feel connection, all of those experiences aid to help us understand that ultimately our source is beyond the things we experience here on earth, right? And so this is deep spirituality. When you know that you are connected to something beyond the physical, you understand that life experiences and relationships and pain are to bring you closer to understanding what you actually are. It's a surrendering process. I can't, you know what I mean? It's back at this 10 of swords. It's a surrendering process. It's like, I know it's not just me. There is a almighty, omniscient force that is around all of us because of unpredictabilities. We can't predict everything that happens to us. You know what I'm saying? And we're not always sure when things are going to come around. Even if we can predict cycles astrologically, we don't know how those events are going to play out. We don't know the factors in which things are going to play out. Although we can pick up on, that energy coming through, it's still unpredictable in our lives, and that's what we deal with. And that's part of the shock and the trauma too, is not being able to predict things. Okay, you think about the spiritual realm where things are pretty instantaneous there, which is why as children we struggle with being told no. Like, that's part of that. It's like we want, like, in the spiritual high vibrational realms, like, things can manifest in an instant. Like, the concept of time is different. Okay? But here in this realm, we deal with time. Okay? We deal with time. And they say time doesn't heal wounds, but it can, okay, when you address them. Okay? It can when you address them. And we can't be attached to the experiences that we have. You know what I'm saying? It's really dealing with the emotion, to understand the emotion, to learn to regulate ourselves, because things are going to continue to be unpredictable in this world, that are going to evoke our emotional experiences, that are going to trigger us, and it's not always going to feel good. It doesn't matter how conscious you are or how spiritually adept or in tune you are. We all, as human beings still living in this life, face unpredictability that is, that can cause us to be in these 10 of swords moments. Okay, there's this book that I read, and it was talking about serpent power and transformation, and within it was quoted that don't attempt, when you're in a healing process, don't attempt to think that you could just push through it. Like, you are going to have to get to the 10 of swords. You're going to have to surrender at some point to the feelings of being emotionally overwhelmed and trying to mentally talk yourself out of it. Okay? It's the emotion. It's the emotion that needs regulation. I think I may have said before in another reading or in one of my shorts where I was talking about how, like, you don't need to go all the way back into a specific memory, because it's our emotion that we need to deal with. Our emotions don't change. We'll have the same emotional template spectrum from the day we're born until we're no longer here. So you're never not going to feel sadness again just because you've healed certain those emotions. I don't mean to laugh, but it's like it's not like healing isn't a barrier to not having a human experience anymore. It's the process. Well, the process that we learn is how to regulate ourselves and acknowledge our emotions, and have a better awareness within ourselves and others ultimately, because that experience isn't going to change. You know what I'm saying? Grief will always be grief. Okay, we learn how to better get through those experiences, through our own personal practices, or if we have supportive community or loved ones and things like that can get us through those things. But it's like, it doesn't change. Like, so when you heal, you keep that in mind. Like, this is something I'm regulating because I'm going to feel angry again at some point. I may feel sad again at some point. I may feel frustrated, disappointed. So healing isn't about learning how to, spar with emotions. You're not sparring with your emotions. You're recognizing them and allowing them. Not trying to block them like, oh, here come the feelings. No, let them come, because they're not going to stop coming so long as you're having a human experience, okay? So detach from the idea that, we have to hold on to our experiences. We don't. We have to feel through emotions. Feel through the emotions. Okay? Peace.